This video is not intended for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Lori Roberts, Tyrant Beard, Max World Entertainment. How you doing, Trey? My brother from another mother. Speaker for the dead. Good morning. Loving that new intro, bro. Absolutely kick ass. Josh and Rebecca Momini. Good morning. Good morning, Kathia Star. Good morning, Adiga Outlaw. Hell, brother. Star Wars Road podcast is here. What is up, dude? He's like, what's up, Loki? What's up, Star Wars Road podcast? Good morning. Welcome. RR Purple Lady, one of my wrenches, Samantha Joe. My other wrench, the Valkyries are here. The Valkyries hanging out with Loki. Josh and Rebecca. Oh, I already said Josh and Rebecca Momini, didn't I? Mark the Infinitely Tired. And of course, Dave Bob. Dave Bob's here today in two more ways than one. He's in the chat, and he is here standing here with me.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, man. Nina Green. Good morning, Nina. Good morning. Welcome. I'm so glad you made it today. Lady Mist, good morning. Nancy, good morning. No sleep here, played sniper till 5 a.m., then made tacos. Think I fell asleep for an hour dreaming about tacos. Must be the margaritas yesterday. Oh, yes. Tacos, 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 tacos. Man, could we have a Taco Thursday? I don't know. Dave Bob, Taco Thursday?
Well, I don't know. I think Thirsty Thursday would be a little better.
Yes, Thirsty Thursday. Drinks.
Drinks, Lori. You get your pouring.
Oh, man. How is everybody doing this morning? Tacos and drinks. Yes. Fire, bacon, and drinks from RR. Yes. Yes.
Bacon. Bacon.
Bacon, 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 bacon. Oh, man. Guys. Oh, so, dude, we are here to talk about Star Trek fan films, specifically Star Trek films made by Vance, Major Owen, and No Budget Productions. And when you start thinking about fan films, it could be anything from a bunch of kids in a basement surrounded by cardboard to people who built a actual reproduction of one of the sets, one of the bridges. They use CGI, they use special effects. They try and use everything they have available to them to bring the show, but also they bring the heart. They want to bring the heart of Star Trek, and I think that's the most important thing.
Oh yeah, right off the bat, just the heart of Star Trek, the vision that Gene had of a bright future and whatever, bringing it in like that. That's what fan films are all about.
Yeah, and when you load that up and you hear the sounds, you not only hear or see something that you're like, oh wow, that looks so good, but you hear the sounds.
Oh yeah, the sound effects are spot on. I mean, they sound just like the original sound effects from the original series on most of it.
Yeah, it immediately makes your hair on your neck stand up. Hearing that, woo, hearing the red alert sounds, hearing the bridge, the ambiance on the bridge.
Yeah, just the pings and the dings and whatnot.
And it immediately brings back memories, you know, and that is that something, do you think that's something that CBS has lost sight of?
Well, not only lost sight of, they just totally threw it away. They're all flash now. There's everything's CGI. Everything's well, my dogs have decided to act up.
They're just agreeing with you, brother.
Yeah.
They are just
Sorry
agreeing.
about that. But yeah, they've lost sight of it, definitely.
And it's amazing that the fans haven't. The fans haven't, and the people that are making these fan films, they haven't lost sight of that. They haven't lost sight of what Star Trek means. They haven't lost sight of the heart of Star Trek.
Well, that's going to be what keeps Star Trek alive in our hearts, I believe, more than anything.
Yeah, are those memories, you know? I've heard people talk about TOS and, oh, well, I only watch so many episodes of TOS because it's so boring and so this and so that. And they want Flash, but that's not Star Trek. You know, Gene used everything he had available to him to make Star Trek. And
well, not only that, his vision of the future was positive. And even on DS9, when things got dark, you still had the vision of the future, you know, that Gene had in there, and it's just not there anymore.
No, I don't think it is. A lot of people said Star Trek died when Gene died. I've heard that from a couple of different people, but I don't believe that. I believe that the people that worked on Next Gen, the people that worked on DS9, the people that worked on Voyager, a lot of them worked with Gene and understood what he wanted.
Absolutely. I mean, the crew that did Next Gen, DS9, and Voyager, you know, they did it with respect and love, and they did a good job. I mean, I'm not saying every episode was great. There were some stinkers like anything else, but you know, overall, it was Gene's vision.
And the fans are keeping that. The fans are doing everything they can to keep that vision alive. And you know, as much as we rail against what a lot of people call new Trek, NU Trek, it's got the Star Trek name, but that's, to me, that's all it's got.
Yeah, I'm not going to be negative about it so much today. There are certain parts of Picard that I actually, I enjoyed certain scenes and interactions and stuff with it, but overall, overall, it wasn't, it wasn't what I consider Star Trek.
And Derek McManus says, I love Dave Bob's accent. I can picture him sitting on his porch with his shotgun deterring communists.
Watch out. There's a rabbit out there. I'm going to pop him off there.
Oh, man. So let's get back to the fan films. You watched some of these. I've watched some of these. I've loved watching the watch parties on Trey's channel, and hanging out and getting to see these. I never seen a lot of these, and back in 2010, I was running an RP group through a Star Trek community, and it was fun. It was really fun. We made trailer videos, and we all got together and RP'd in a game. and we had a lot of fun. We did this for 4 years, and to me, a lot of that is the love. It's the love of Star Trek. Were we canon? No. Did we feel like we were canon? Yes. Why? Because we were putting everything we had into a group that was carrying on to the best of our ability that vision. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to carry on to the best of their ability, their vision, using everything they have to make it work and make it good for them.
Oh yeah, you definitely have to give them an A for effort, because they put a lot of heart into those episodes. Major Vance and the other people that are in there, they do with what they have. They capture more of Star Trek than CBS does with their millions upon millions of dollars per episode.
Yeah, and they've got a huge amount of resources at their disposal to throw at this, and yet the fan films don't. And I've talked about, use what you've got. When I'm talking about people wanting to get into YouTube, use what you've got. If you've got a phone, use your phone. If you've got, an old computer, use the old computer. Use what you have to get everything going. More will come later. If all you've got is a headset and an old computer, you can make videos on a headset and an old computer. It will work. You just got to do it. You've got to do and use what you've got. If you've got to use a video editor with a watermark on it, use it. Captain Robert April did that forever. He made his videos. They've got a watermark on it. So what? He's using the tools at his disposal to make something great. And that's what you've got to do. And you keep plugging away at it, and you keep working on it, and you keep it going. You don't have to have a $3,000 computer and the very best microphone on the market to be a YouTuber. It's the same with these fan films. A lot of, if not all, of Vance Major Owen's movies were done with a phone, a camera on a phone. And he got laughed at when he said that this camera guy came over to him. And I was talking about this last time I talked to him, and he was like, "Oh, look at my camera, and it's, so much money, and I can do this, and I can do that, and I can filter here, and I can filter that, and I can zoom, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you can't do that with a phone." And when the guy left, he pulled out his camera on his phone and was like, "We're going to do it anyway. I'm going to use whatever I've got to do this, and we're going to do it." That's love, guys. That is love for what you're doing. That is dedication for what you're doing. Using anything at your disposal.
Absolutely. Use what you got. Don't worry about the best. I mean, if you have a phone, use a phone. If you have a $100,000 camera, use it. But, that's not an option for most people.
No, it's not. And yeah, Star Wars Rogue Podcast phone cameras these days are excellent too. Yeah, you can record in 4K now. I don't know what the brand new ones do, because I don't keep track of that. I'm happy with what I've got, and until I have a problem or it breaks, or it's like, well, we don't support this anymore, I'm completely happy with what I got. I'm not a person that has to have the brand newest shit as soon as it comes out.
Well, I definitely am not in the group that has the latest and greatest. I'm still using an old Galaxy 5 Android phone.
And you make do. You make do. And when the heart of what you're doing comes out so much, I love that. I love that. There's such a, well, we got to get this right. We have to get this part right. Because somebody's going to say something. We have to get this right. We have to get this part right. I remember Vance talking about the blue buzzard collectors on his ship in his movies that's called the Constar.
I think it's called a Bussard collector.
Buzzard collector, yeah. I've always called them the buzzard collectors because the first time I was like buzzard collectors, buzzard.
You
Yeah, that's the southern in me coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, but they're blue. So what? He was like, I liked it. I liked the aesthetic. I liked that it was a little bit different. It was my own little thing. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude, that's awesome. That is awesome. It doesn't have to look exactly like the damn Enterprise.
No, you don't. You don't have to follow everybody. You can chart your own path on things,
and still respect what came before it.
Oh yeah.
And that's the love. That's the love of that. Well, you know what? I love this design. I really love this design, and it's a cool design. I've always loved the Connie, bro. I have.
The original Star Trek bridge was classic, and there were, I believe, most of the fan films that are being shot now are being shot on the same bridge. I think it's someone built the replica, and they actually I don't know how they do it, but they allow other people to use it to do their fan film flicks on it.
Yeah, and you start getting into the special effects. I've seen people use old games that look really, really good to do some of the special effects. They use an in-game engine, like the Quake engine, to do some of the special effects. And man, you use what you got. Absolutely, you use what you've got. So, what did you think about the character of Menard? That character is actually played by Vance Major Owen. What did you think about that?
I enjoyed the character. He has the history of the character. If you look at it, he was exposed to quad lithium or something, and
Yep.
He ended up, having a lifespan of centuries instead of a normal, human lifespan. He looked the same age for like over 100 years, and also, they had some of the mirror image episodes thrown in there, with both his evil self and him in the same universe. It had some interesting concepts.
And that was such a wonderful little thing they threw in there with the mirror universe stuff. I think that was the very first episode I saw, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? Because I hadn't gone back and watched them and caught up with what exactly was going on. And I think the second one I saw, and this was all on Trey's channel, guys. This is all, I think, the first time I went over to Trey's channel and was watching the episode where they steal the Constar to go to Wolf 359 after the Borg attack. Dude, I was like, hell yeah, steal the Constar and go and help out at Wolf 359. There's these ideas, and it's all connected to Star Trek that we watched, that we loved, whether it was based on a game, whether it was based on a book, whether it was based on a show, whatever you're basing it off of.
Yeah, to me, the Constitution class starship is one of the most elegant and beautiful designed ships ever, and there's really no way you can improve on it. And I love the way they brought the specs up to where it's just as powerful as a lot of the line ships and everything. Just maybe an older frame, but they've got all the upgrades.
Yeah, all the upgrades, just with an older frame. I absolutely love that. And I don't know if you remember this. You remember the episode where we saw the Stargazer for the first time in TNG?
Yeah, I remember that.
They called it a Constellation class, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
They were going to use footage of the original Enterprise just with Stargazer on it. I don't know if you know that or not.
No.
The Stargazer was going to be a Constitution class starship, and they had problems with Paramount. They had a disagreement with Paramount, and at the last minute, they got the effects studio to make a new ship, which was, of course, we all know the 4 nacelle Constellation class. And they called it the Constellation because they could voice over that in the episode so that their mouths looked like they were saying Constellation when really they were saying Constitution.
There you go. Hey, that's using the old noodle there.
Yeah, but that's it. It's an iconic ship. I wish we had seen more of those ships. I really do.
Yes.
Because the way Picard talks about it, it's like, man, the bridge, the deck plates would shake and you feel like you were flying apart on that old ship. But man, nothing else. There was nothing else like it. He'd go back to that any day over the Enterprise D.
Oh yeah, that was his first love, and he even when he was commanding the Enterprise, he was always wanting to go back to the old Stargazer.
Yep, Ambassador Matt throws this in. The TNG bridge is good, and honestly, it's iconic, but there's some visual appealing about the TOS movie bridge.
Oh, yeah, the TOS bridge is that's, to me, that's Star Trek. But look, I started watching that when I was 9 years old in 1966, original broadcast on NBC. And me and my father, we watched that for years, and that was a bonding thing with us when I was younger.
Yeah. If anybody's here has heard me talk about my dad, when he would be home from deployment, I get to stay up late and watch TOS with him. Those were the nights I got to stay up late and hang out with my dad, watching old Star Trek. But back to the fan.
Old Star Trek. I mean, it's like coming home, after you've been away for a long time.
Yeah. And like I said before, some people are like, oh, well, I can only watch this episode or that episode because a lot of the episodes I don't really get into. I could turn that on and sit there and watch the whole thing front to back over the course of a couple of days. If I'm in a TOS mood, I'll watch them all.
Yes, there's 3 years worth, and I think it's over 70 almost 100 episodes. They're classic. There's no getting around it. Those are the classic episodes that I grew up with, and that to me is Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. Psychodope 9 throws in a line ship. The edges are worn. The console is scuffed. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's got to look lived in.
Yeah, it's got to look lived in. I remember reading through all the technical manuals for the Enterprise D and how the Enterprise D was supposed to have 100-year lifespan. 100 years with overhauls set every 5 years and major refits every 20 or 25. So 4 major refits over the course, and they jumped the gun on that because they lost. How many did they lose? I think three Galaxy class ships by the time the Odyssey was destroyed in DS9. It was 3 of them that they'd lost.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you got to Generations, they had their first major refit. By the time you got to Generations, that's why the bridge looks different. The way they've got the standing consoles and all that is because the Galaxy class had gone through a major refit, and it still got destroyed. It was still destroyed at the Battle of Narendra 3.
Yeah, the Enterprise has got a history of getting itself blown up quite often.
Oh, that's the Enterprise C. It got blown up in Narendra 3. My bad, guys. I forget what system they were in Generations. But yeah, the Enterprise always seems to go down fighting, doesn't it?
Yep.
So if there was anything that stuck out to you when you were watching these, anything that really grabbed you and stuck out?
Well, just the they looked like they were having fun doing it, and that's something that you really have to do when you're doing something like a fan film. You got to be enjoying it and liking what you're doing, and it looked like they thoroughly enjoyed themselves while they were making all of those films.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you will see in the credits in a lot of the no budget production videos is fun. Have fun doing what you're doing. I think it's like no drama, all fun, something along those lines. I'm sure Trey knows exactly what I'm talking about. And there again, there's the link for no budget productions if you guys want to watch any of those. Have fun doing what you're doing. If you're not having fun, why are you doing it?
Absolutely. I mean, if you cannot have fun while you're doing it, it's going to show through in the product, the end product. If you're just drudging through something, it's going to be a drudgery to watch it.
Yeah, kind of like what we dealt with the machine from Princess Bride.
Another year of your life.
Yes, another year of your life is gone. But these don't feel like that at all. They feel like they are doing the best, and they're doing the best with what they've got.
Yeah,
and
the production value, while but not being, just world class or anything, they're doing what they can with what they have, and they do a very good job for what they have.
They do. And Star Wars Rogue Podcast throws out a really good question. Anyone seen the fan film Seth MacFarlane made as a teenager with his friends?
I remember seeing. I can remember watching it, but it's been many years ago when I saw it.
Yeah, me as well. And but man, you start to realize how the Orville came to be. You really do. And I'm not going to go all negative here. I think that's the biggest mistake CBS has made. I don't think the biggest mistake is STD. I don't think the biggest mistake is Picard. I think the biggest mistake they made was telling him no when he came to them and said, I want to make a Star Trek series.
Oh, yeah. He is a true fan of Star Trek. And I mean, it shows through in the Orville.
Ambassador throws out, and of course, from Axanar, the Ares class, I like my ships to look aggressive. I'm more of a military guy myself. There is a scene in Prelude where you see the ship go through. I don't know whether it's in Prelude or whether it's the new trailer, where you see it go through a Klingon ship after it's exploded. Me and Trey were talking about this the other day, and it's what the queen bitch of the universe in Prelude to Axanar is talking about. It's like a Klingon maneuver. He went at them, and it is, because if you watch DS9 and you watch what the Klingons do and how the Klingons operate, when the Federation faces the Dominion on their push to get back to Deep Space Nine and take Deep Space Nine, when the Klingons come in, they are firing everything they have at this Cardassian Galore class ship, and they blow through it and then fly through the wreckage. And that's what you see the Ares do. You see the Ares blow through this Klingon ship and fly through it. And she's like, it was like a Klingon maneuver.
Oh, yeah, was that Garth?
Yeah, that was Garth. That was Garth, yeah. And when you see things like that, and you see that, okay, that is sitting down and thinking, how would this work? How would this work? How would the Klingons do this? And Captain Sonia Alexander, it was like a Klingon maneuver. Yes, the queen bitch of the universe. The Klingons called her the queen bitch of the Federation or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. And that line and that idea, that comes from Star Trek love. That comes from knowing your Star Trek.
Another thing on the Next Generation, on the episode where the Enterprise D came through the time. I love some of those alternate timeline episode, but I love the look of the Enterprise in that alternate timeline. The Enterprise D, love that look of that ship. That was to me the first true warship that I ever saw. From Star Trek. That ship looked like it was built for war.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the look of the Enterprise in All Good Things. I absolutely love the three nacelle dreadnought, the Galaxy class dreadnought that Riker. And we were talking about, major refits. That was a major refit they did for All Good Things. And that phaser cannon that's under the dish.
Well, that's what's great about being able to digitally create the ships and recreate them. You can have the newer ships and even design your own type and class if you have the skills to do it and put it on screen. And it's great the way people can do that now. I mean, effects from home computers and stuff are getting better and better.
Yeah, exactly. And again, Trey, he's correcting me because, of course I quoted it wrong. They called me the queen bitch whore of the Federation. Yes.
Well, I wasn't gonna throw that in there. I thought the same thing to myself.
Loki did it. Blame Loki. Hashtag blame Loki. I know. I misquote.
Well, it's like me a lot of times. I can remember all kinds of things, but I can't remember it verbatim. I'm not Memorex, and although I am live, I'm not Memorex.
So if I hate to even like give it a grade because
no grading. I will just say they get an A for effort. I mean, they put their heart and soul in it.
Yeah. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters, guys. It's all that matters with these fan films. It's all that matters with that we're gonna get more Axonar soon. That's all that matters there. It's all that matters if you want to do what me and Dave Bob are doing. If you want to go on YouTube and you want to talk and you want to give your ideas, that's all that matters is that you put your heart and soul into it. You put everything you have into what you're doing, it will show.
Oh yeah, Max World Entertainment. The Defiant is so overpowered, it's almost unmanageable.
Yeah, and they talked about that. It's overgunned, it's overpowered, and it damn near flew itself apart in its trial run. It took O'Brien how long working on that thing to get it to where it was the beast that it is at the end of that show. I mean, yeah. O'Brien pretty much wrote the book on how to make the Defiant work. And I remember when the Defiant first showed up and people were like, it's a warship. The Federation doesn't have warships. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have that. Well, they were getting ready to fight the Borg. So it makes perfect sense in the end that, okay, we've got this new threat. We're working on new ideas. And before TNG was even over, they had come out with the Defiant and they were building the first Sovereign. And the first Sovereign class ship did not work. It did not work. The sensor array didn't work. The engines didn't work. And they put it on hold and redesigned and made the Enterprise, which was a ship of the line, because it was the first ship of the line that was finished. That's why it's the Enterprise and not a Sovereign. It wasn't NX. It wasn't an NX class Sovereign. That would come out actually after the Enterprise D did, after the Enterprise E came out, because they couldn't make it work at the time. They had to go back and completely do a redesign, and they were already finishing the frame for the new Enterprise.
Don't
A
you
lot of
just hate it when that happens?
But that man, that takes so much thought and so much love to put all that into that and come up with this giant backstory of why the Enterprise E was first instead of the NX class Sovereign.
Yeah, there you go. You've got to have consistency in your canon and your writing. One of the biggest problems with, well, I'm not going to get negative, but one of the biggest problems with New Trek is the writers don't understand what they're writing about. They don't have the background. They don't have the knowledge to write Star Trek. I mean, they're Gilmore Girls and whatnot writers trying to do science fiction, and that's never going to work.
No. You have to have people that love what you're doing, and we kind of hit on this the other day, but I'll say it again. Each and every one of us are diverse. Each and every one of us. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter what your political beliefs are. It doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are. Each and every single one of us is diverse. And to say, well, we want this kind of diversity. That's such a pigeonhole. That is such a pigeonhole and such a lame ass thing to say, because each one of us has our own diversity. We are unique. That's what the Borg was all about, was taking away our uniqueness and grouping us into, well, you're a drone, or you're this, or you're that. And that's what you'll always be.
Yes. Just to thine own self be true.
Yes, sir. To thy own self be true. And when you look at it like that, Star Trek's always led the way. Star Trek has always led the way. They've always led the way in special effects. They've always led the way in story. They've always led the way in heart, and they've always led the way in new ideas. And if a fan film captures that, I don't care what you call it. That's Star Trek. I don't care if someone says, well, that's not canon. No, it's Star Trek. If the heart and soul of Star Trek's there, then it's Star Trek. If it's not, then it's not. You know, if you put your heart and soul into that, if you put everything you have into that, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter whether it's canon or not. It can be canon in your own head, like we were just talking about. Everyone's diverse. Everyone sees things their own way.
Excuse me.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, there's so many people out there, you know, they want to see flash, and they want to see glitz, glamour, and you know, in a fan film, you know, they don't have all the tools to do the fancy stuff. But as far as, you know, what they're doing, they're getting out there and they're doing the best they can with what they have, and that shines through more than a lot of the other stuff.
And Kathia brings up a point here. The contracts are not issued individually anymore. They are packaged now. So one writer will have a drama, then a comedy, then a sci-fi. That writer will do all of those. That is why we are having issues with writing. I do know that when they put these story groups together, if all they have is people that are saying the same thing, there's no point in having a group. There's actually, if they're all saying, well, we're all on the exact same page, reading the exact same line at the exact same time, where is the out of the box creativity coming from?
Yeah, that's not going to work. You can't just have multiple. Well, I'm not saying that the writers don't have the ability to do it, but you got to concentrate on certain things while you're doing it. You can't, you know, just be all over the place writing 3 or 4 different shows at one time, because your thought processes are going to get sidetracked.
Yeah, your thought processes are going to get sidetracked, and it's been brought up. You know, I know the fandom has talked about Star Wars. Fandom Menace has talked about Star Wars. They've talked about Star Trek. They've talked about how they've got nothing but a certain type of group that's trying to basically run everything. And to me, that's the dumbest, absolutely dumbest thing you can do. You know, you look at TNG and you look at the people that worked on TNG, you had a giant amount of diversity there.
Yeah,
You had a giant
that's bad robot and secret hidey holes niche, you know, is just trying to take over everything. I mean, everything's all bundled into one deal. It doesn't, you know, all those square holes don't fit when you try to put a round peg in them.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mark the Infinitely Tired says, fan films, you get a story and continuity. CBS Trek, you get Admiral effing hubris and shadows of characters with no heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kathia throws out another one. They need a paycheck. There is no creativity because the writers have no idea how to write for certain genres. The Gilmore Girl thing, that's what's happening. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when you have a group of people that focused on writing teen dramas and then you've got them writing for Star Trek, you get what you pay for.
Well, yeah, that's when you get sonar in space. Time crystals.
Time crystals. RR says creativity out of necessity, having to improvise something to create destruction makes the best art. The power to create is ultimately the power to destroy. Yeah. And you look at TOS, they did what they did with what they had. And that's exactly what these fan films are doing. They're working with what they had. Michael Okuda had to design a ton of stuff for the sets. I mean, this guy was making consoles, and he was using anything and everything he could to make that stuff. That's creativity.
Yeah, and the budget they had was not near what they have now. And yet, on some of the newer stuff, newer Star Trek, they have a 3D printer acting as a replicator. It's, you know, silly stuff like that. I mean, they have all the money in the world, and they just go out and buy a store-bought item and use that as a replicator.
Yeah, even more than that. They had like park lunch tables on the wannabe Rosinati on Picard, and all they did was throw some great paint on it.
Yeah, camo, auto primer.
They've got $100 million an episode, and that's what they do. And I think that's the problem. They've got all that money. Guys, the special effects team, they did a lot of the space shots for TNG. They were a small company when they started. They were a very small company. And you can watch a lot about them in the Blu-ray set, the TNG Blu-ray sets, because I've watched almost each and every one of these things where they talk about how they did this and how they put it on the film and the models and the stuff they were doing. This was a very small company, and they were constantly on a deadline. No mistakes. This has to work the first time. If they had to change something, they had to rearrange the order of the episodes because they didn't have time. They did not have time. They were under the gun constantly. And
that's the beauty of episodic episodes. You can show them however you want to, as long as you have the general timeline right.
Yeah, as long as you have the general timeline right. But you hear a lot today about, well, you can't work people like that, you can't do this like that, you can't do that like that. This company that was doing those special effects, they were not staffed. They were not hugely staffed. They didn't have, oh, well, we can do this and work on all these other projects at the same time. From my understanding, once they showed CBS what they could do, it was like this is now our business, is doing the special effects for TNG. And of course they grew and they were getting paid. And I think it was something like 10 or 15% of the budget each year was going to this company making these. And it made, obviously it made them a rock star, but to start out like that does not happen today. They're throwing hundreds of millions of dollars, $100 million an episode per Picard. I don't see where the money went. But if you took 1/100th of that and gave that money to a dedicated group that's making fan films and said, come up with something good and we'll have it on the CBS streaming, whatever the hell it's called.
All ass hats.
All ass hats. What can you imagine the content they could have right now if they just took 1/100th of one episode of Picard, each 10 episodes, and gave that to 10 fan film creators and said, here's $1 million, give us an hour's worth of content. Can you imagine what they could do with that?
That would actually be something I would I would love to have something like that happen. That sounds like something George Lucas would do, though.
Yeah, and instead of encouraging that, instead of looking at that and going, man, we could have all this content, and instead they've got the short bus treks. We could have all this content from 10 different creators strictly on CBS All Access that you could only see on CBS All Access. And instead of doing that, they're just blowing it on crap. They're just blowing it on crap. They could be encouraging creativity. They could be encouraging new writers to come on board and work for them. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're going to go the opposite way and make lawsuits and discourage creativity.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
That's so asinine. That's counterproductive. The things that CBS does sometimes astounds me in their stupidity. But they have their own little group, their own little sound bubble out. They're all caught up. Everybody, thinks the same, speaks the same. They have no diversity in their thinking.
And Number One Sci-Fi makes a wonderful point. 15 minutes of positivity eliminates lots of negativity.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad you're doing well, brother. I know you're in the hospital. I know you got your phone, but thank you so much for being here, dude. And like I told you yesterday, if you need anything, all of us here at Mornings of Mischief, man, we will do anything we can for you, brother. Just say the word. If you need anything, let us know, and we will be there. But that he makes a perfect point. He does. This could all have turned around for CBS had they done something so simple like that. And you hear the words, this isn't your Star Trek. This is our Star Trek.
Thank you, Lady Gravemaster. I love y'all too.
Oh. Hello, Lady Gravemaster. We have missed you. How are you doing? Good morning and welcome. I don't even want to use the word gatekeeping, but that's kind of what they're doing.
Well, since they've remerged with Paramount, CBS now, I don't even know what that they're going to change the name of the streaming service, which tells you right off the bat that CBS All Access has been a failure. And Star Trek, Discovery was what All Access was based on. So that shows you how well that that show is really doing. They can spin it all they want to, but when you get right down to it, the new Trek, I don't know why they keep trying to press the new Trek. They need to go back to basics and just bring a Star Trek like we had back when it was good.
Yeah, it's not just theirs. And when I heard their damn writing team say that this is ours now, we need to do this. No. No. And when I hear the complete fucking hubris that you fans think it's yours, it is ours. It is ours. We've been there. I've been there for 40 fucking years watching this. Dave, Bob, you've been there longer than that. It
over
is
50
ours.
years. Over 50 years.
It belongs to everybody, you dumb sons of bitches. That's why the fan films are so important. That's why what these people are doing is so important. You know, to me, it doesn't. I could care less what political leanings anybody has. I could give a shit less if it's coming out and it's good. That's all that should matter. If it's making people think, that's all it should matter. Star Trek has always been a show that made you think about things.
IDIC.
The IDIC, infinite diversity in infinite combinations. And that is the Vulcan motto, infinite diversity in infinite combinations. How dare you say that Star Trek is yours? How dare you say that it's not ours. It's not yours. It's ours now. It's ours now. It belongs to us. No, it doesn't. Star Trek's always belonged to everyone. That's the point. That's been the whole point of it, is that it's always belonged to everybody. When you start inserting your own political ideology and that overtakes everything Star Trek is about, you have made a fatal error, as the board would say.
That's why exactly like you say, that's why fan films are important, because it keeps the vision of Star Trek alive.
That's right. That's right. It keeps the vision, it keeps the heart, and it keeps the soul of Star Trek alive. So, closing arguments, anything you want to bring up about these shows that you watched, these episodes?
No, just like I said, they're having fun. They're putting it out there. People are enjoying watching it. All I can say is good on them. Good on them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm probably going to misquote this, but the one thing that I said earlier, what Vance puts at the end of in his credits, have fun, not drama. It's something like that. Less drama, more fun. That is what they do, and that is what CBS needs to learn how to do. Is stop worrying about the drama. Stop. Oh, well, we're going to make this all about this political thing. We're going to have a whole season of a show about this one political event. No, dude, nobody gives a shit. They want it to be fun. They want to enjoy themselves. They want to think, and they don't want it shoved down your throat. And that's exactly what these fan films do. When I saw Prelude to the Axanar the first time, dude, I was cheering. I was smiling. I absolutely loved it. When I saw Vance's movies about the Constar, I was smiling. I was cheering. I loved the sounds. I loved the music. I loved what he was doing because it has the heart. That's what matters most, is the heart of it. When they say canon doesn't matter and we're going to do this and we're going to do that however the hell we want to, you've still got to have the heart. You've still got to have the heart of what makes Trek Trek.
That's it in a nutshell.
All right, guys. Thank you all so very much for being here. Kathia Star, Heiress of Chaos. She's like, I have returned, and we are closing. Colonel Chiron, Captain Trek, Speaker for the Dead, Ma Wrench's Purple Lady, and Samantha Joe. Trey over at Max World Entertainment. Adega Outlaw. Oh, I'm sorry. Adega Outlaw. I'm never gonna let that go.
I've been busting his chops on that one.
RR Lady Gravemaster, Speaker for the Dead. I bet you already said that. RX Sith, Robert Pearson. Hail, brother. Good morning. Welcome. Jedi Bill 797. Nina, I hope you're still out there listening, Nina. Chrono Chiron. Mark
Josh and Rebecca Momini.
Mark the Infinitely Tired. Guys, thank you. Tyron Beard, Hit me up, man. Let me know. Let me know what day you can come on, brother. You can come on any day you want except for Monday and Thursday. Hit me up, man. I'd love to have you on. I'd love to have you on tomorrow. Shit. If you can come on tomorrow, that'd be great too. Keely Chow, number one sci-fi brother. We are all in your corner, and we are all here for you. I know everybody keeps saying that, brother, but we are. We
Feel
are
better,
all
sci-fi. Number
yes.
one sci-fi.
We stand with you, sir, and you will beat this. You will beat this, man. I have absolutely no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. Lady Q, one of Trey's wrenches. Welcome, and have a good morning. Did I miss anybody? I'm scrolling. Psycho Dwarf 9 is driving. Probably can't answer back. Guys, again, thank you so much. Lori Roberts, the Destructor.
Still in permanent search of undergarments.
Yes, and always in search of the dreaded Mexican Iron Man.
I think that's who stole her undergarments.
Oh, that explains the Iron Man thong. Got it. Captain Shrek, another one of my wrenches. Thank you, man, for being here. Everybody have a great one. Sit room, you have a great one. We will catch you all tomorrow. I don't know
Have
what
a
we're
great day, everyone.
We'll be rocking it. Have a great day, everyone. See you later.